Welcome, in front of me is a Samsung Galaxy A21s, and today I'll show you an unboxing along with a brief overview of the device. So getting started, this is the box that it comes in. Now the box is fairly cheap, as you will probably see soon here. So just a piece of cardboard. Then inside here we got the booklet. I just popped that out somehow. And inside, paperwork and nothing else. No one cares really about that, so let's just drop that aside. Then we get the phone itself. Now I already set it up, so I'm gonna set it to the side, and we're gonna go back to it in a moment and finish up what's in the box. So we got some absurdly cheap looking headphones, looking like they're straight out of 2000s. So yeah, then we get the Type-C cable. That's really nice thing that they added a Type-C. So USB Type-A to Type-C, and a fairly cheap 15-watt charger. So you can see it over here. And well, the SIM eject tool. And that's all we get in the box. Now, when it comes down to the phone, just unlock it and max out the brightness so it looks better. And there we go. So the phone itself has a 6.5-inch display with a resolution of 720 by 1600, and it's a PLS TFT display with pixels per inch of 270. So it's not the most tightly packed display with resolution. It does fall under the budget mid-range category, probably closer to budget. And when it comes down to screen to body ratio, it's an 82.8%, so fairly nice one honestly for a fairly budget device. Now apart from that, on the front we got a 13 megapixel selfie that shoots 1080 at 30 frames, nothing really special. And at the back, if I lock it, we have a quad camera setup. So the main one is a 48 megapixel wide sensor, then we got an 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro, and 2 megapixel depth sensor. And again, all that can shoot at 1080p at 30 frames, so you're not going to be getting any 60 frames here. I'm gonna go through a quick photos, capture a couple of them just so you can see how it looks like. I have my little plenty here for that. So let's just move that out of the way and open up the camera. Okay, so let's see how that will turn out. For some reason it looks a little bit weirdly colored to me, but the photos itself are fairly detailed, as you can see. I can basically see those tiny little hairs on the plant itself, so I wasn't actually expecting that. So it came out fairly detailed honestly, but the only downside of it is the colors are a little bit weird. They're, I would say, overly saturated and a little bit too dark. So that's just, I would say, a little bit of a downside of the camera, but other than that the picture came out fairly nice. Now let's see what other modes we have here. So we have some live focus. I assume this is just for video, or let's see, let's go to more and see what we get in here. So we got a Panorama Pro macro. Let's actually look at macro. Now this is a only 2 megapixel sensor, so I'm not exactly expecting anything mind-blowing. I personally am expecting that the normal 42 megapixel sensor will be doing better job at capturing macro photos than the 2 megapixel one. But let's see that anyway. So I'm gonna move the light a little bit closer so it isn't really in the shadow. Now this say 3 to 5 centimeters distance, and it's about that. Okay, let's see how that looks like. So honestly the colors are looking a little bit better, but the macro is actually not bad. As you can see, this is zoomed in, and you can clearly see what you have on the photo. It looks really nice, honestly. I was expecting it to be well, a little bit worse, but as you can see the focus is really close. You need to get really close to the subject to get a good photo. This was, I guess, something probably above 5 centimeters, so as you can see it came out a little bit blurry here comparing it to this one. So macro is not bad, honestly. Surprised by it. So let's get rid of the camera out of the way and move on. So apart from that, the device in terms of specifications comes with an Exynos 850 and it has a couple different versions in terms of memory and RAM. So we got the base version, the lowest one. It's a 32 gigabyte memory with 3 gigabytes RAM, and then you have a 64 option with 4 or 6 gigabyte RAM. Now personally I would advise you to, if you're planning to buy this device, to go for the bigger one in terms of RAM. The storage can be expanded via SD card while the RAM cannot, and honestly in 2020 I feel like the 3 gigabyte RAM is a little bit low, and I would advise you to go probably for the 6 one. Now the device will probably cost a little bit more, about some like $50 more, probably maybe not even to 100, but honestly in the long run it's gonna be way more worth it than, well, saving up that tiny little cash and having a more budget version of it, because RAM cannot be upgraded. You will be kind of stuck with it, and if the device is later on kind of struggling with certain apps, there is no way of getting past it, and no amount of additional storage will help you with that. Then moving on, the device has a fairly hefty, chunky battery of 5,000 milliamp hours, so that is a big boy there, and a little bit of a puny charger that comes with it of 15 watts. So you get a huge battery but really crap charger. Prefer to have a bit of like at least 20 watt charger. This will be charging for a while. This is more like plug it overnight and leave it there for the entire night to charge. And apart from that, things that probably are not seen here in the video is the fact the device has a headphone jack at the bottom, a Type-C USB, which I did kind of mention with the cable, and then rear mounted fingerprint. Apart from that, it has a white color with like this kind of reflective, almost RGB surface. It looks fairly nice. Apart from that, you have the camera bump. Now this is a fairly minimal camera bump, so thumbs up for that. Probably would have been better to not have any, but hey, it is here, so I guess nothing to do with it anymore. And apart from that, we got the speaker or microphone at the top. That's for loudspeakers. Then we got the SIM tray right here on the upper left side. At the bottom, like I said, we have the port and the headphone jack, along with the speaker grill, along with the microphone for calls. And then we have volume rockers and power key. And that's about it. Now, to briefly conclude this, the device costs about $200. I expect this as the price probably for the base model. Haven't really checked it, but for the price it costs, it works really nice. The camera did exceed my expectations, honestly. I was expecting it to do a little bit of a crappier photos. The 48 megapixel sensor is okay. The thing that surprised me was the 2 megapixel macro, which did fairly good job with actually capturing a decent macro photo. Apart from that, I didn't really have any way of testing out the night modes or how it captures in a low light, so that is something that you will probably have to look up yourself. And apart from that, it does have a really big battery, which is a real thumbs up for the device. With a fairly budget specs, it probably won't be using much of that battery, so it should last you probably 2 days. So really nice. Now, the thing that I probably would like to see better in here is the display. It is a big display with the hole punch camera. That's all good. I would prefer to see an AMOLED. I mean, at Samsung, they basically jam AMOLEDs to almost every device, and it's kind of a shame that we don't see it here. Or in terms of maybe, I don't know, sticking with not AMOLED, at least higher refresh rate. But then I assume this device was released probably like last year, so I might be expecting a little bit too much. Haven't checked actually when it was released. But if it was in 2020, I genuinely would like to see a bit like 90 Hz display. And apart from that, the device works fine, like I said. Doesn't really lag anywhere. It feels fairly good. It's by all means more kind of Samsung device, so you get all the app icons and theming like you see on every other Samsung. And yeah, if you already used Samsung before, then this is nothing new. It's just a budget version of it. So in terms of it, $200, I think it's a fair price for this device. If there is any better device at this moment, I can't really think about any other device that would come at $200 or somewhere around that price and beat this. Maybe in the future, if I get other devices and test them out, I will have something, but at the moment it seems to be worth the money. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.